people who use that word toxic masculinity in the wrong context and just grouping masculinity with that's wrong. But also men not being able to call out toxic masculinity and differentiate it from masculinity. It's kind of just like hiding from the problem. But so I'm in a long-term relationship. It's been almost 6 years. I started to realize that I think I'm polyamorous. Polyamory is you can have multiple loves.
Just making general decisions as a man, sometimes people comes up, oh, okay, that's toxic.
Like to come out as a gay man or a bisexual man is like a lot harder. Me being like, I'm bi, everyone's like, oh yeah, like I feel like I'm at that age where I definitely seem older, but like I'm still like young enough that I can like pass for like early 20s.
Argument or breakup, and it will be like showing stuff. Like you're just throwing the words out there. What you
as
believe
a man,
in.
in my position, this is a decision I would make.
There are different genders beyond man and woman, and pronouns are how you address someone. To be masculine is not to be affectionate, even with your bros, like bromance vibes.
I'll have to disagree with that. That's just how I am.
At school. So I got into my second choice of journalism at CPUT. I decided I still wanted to do nature conservation, so I did matric biology during first year of journalism. Got into nature conservation, and then my lecturer was like, it would be a real pity if you leave journalism because you're very talented. And I was like, yeah, but I really want to do nature conservation. And he was like, I'll pay for you.
Oh.
So I was like, okay, looks like I'm staying in journalism. And how's this for a story? So he's one of the most intelligent people I've ever met. I'm not going to say his name for like just privacy reasons, but so intelligent. Like used to come to class with like a 6-pack of Red Bulls and 3 boxes of Inchies and like smoke them all and drink all the Red Bulls.
In one go? Right?
Yeah. Just like throughout the day. And like, the rumor has it he was really good at, was it poker? Gambling or something. Like he could count cards.
Oh.
So he was like,
cards.
had like dang cash because of this. And he literally, when he gave me the money for my studies, it was
Wait,
like,
was he giving like cash?
he
Like
gave
he gave you cash?
gave me cash, not even in an envelope, in like
He's a real G.
yeah,
He said professor.
professor, yeah.
Professor
lecturer.
of money.
Yeah, and just like gave me this stack of cash, like stapled in an A4 paper.
What?
And it was like, I gave you some extra for books and stationery. I was like, this is weird, but thank you. So yeah, that was that. And then I interned at Visi Magazine, which is new media publishing. And then I worked in media for a while, and then blah, 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 skip forward. And basically now I'm studying at UCT. I'm in my second year of a very long, to get to clinical psychology, it's 7 years.
Wow. 7 years.
Yeah.
Doctor level stuff.
So you've been, how long have you been studying this?
It's my second year now.
Still a journey going.
So it's still a
I'm
long
still an
journey.
undergrad,
Are you prepared
baby.
for it?
I'm very prepared. I'm dedicated. I love learning. It's a lifelong process.
Yeah.
And you would have to be dedicated as a 28-year-old going to first year. Like literally my classmates are 18. I was like, what do we have to talk about?
Yeah, speak about that. That's quite interesting.
Yeah,
I'd
that
like
is
to know
interesting.
that.
What do
How-
they see? Do they see you as a I don't want to say, but as a mother or someone to go to
No,
the
they
big
were
sister?
they're very surprised. I feel like I'm at that age where I'm like, I definitely seem older, but like I'm still like young enough that I can like pass for like early 20s.
Yeah.
I always love when people do that. Like, I feel like it's just a personal one day. It's like, hey, no.
Just to throw it out there.
Yeah. I'm still with you guys.
Yeah, so they were surprised that I was older. So yeah, I mean, age is just a number, man.
Yeah, it is. It's the soul.
Yeah, but how's that dynamic though? What do you find yourself chatting to those fellas, or how does that go?
So because of COVID, like it's been online. So I did French, and then that was my only in-person class. So that was the only time that I interacted with my classmates. And so yeah, but we're back on campus this year, so it should be interesting. And the couple of people that I am in regular communication with, because I'm part of a society, the United Nations Association of South Africa, the UCT chapter.
What do they do? Protect the students' rights or what?
Well, they're basically a chapter of the United Nations. So we're basically trying to further the aims of the United Nations by focusing on like sustainable development goals and
because there used to be some like I'm not sure that I want to ask you that used to do like fight for rights when it comes like foreigners and refugees and stuff.
Yeah.
It's the same organization.
I think, is that not the UNHF or something?
No, UCT, I think it's the
It's the
same.
same human
organization.
resources. That's the one they do, isn't
Is
it?
it?
Yeah,
That's the other UN.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
the
that's
other.
a different chapter.
Yeah, so
it's just like there's different chapters,
there's
like
different chapters.
each
Okay.
university. I think not every university.
The
I know
UCT
Staley's
is
has
the
one.
because I think the one time was human rights one. That's one I always see.
But
That
it used to be at UCT though.
I think it still is.
It still is.
I think so.
Yeah, it's definitely focused on human rights work as well. Community outreach, schools program, doing like a national, what? Natman. I've forgotten the, what is it? An acronym?
Acronym,
Yes,
acronym.
I've forgotten the full version of the acronym, but it's basically like, you know how the United Nations, like there's a delegate from each country.
Yeah.
And they come and then they basically do the things. We do a student version of that. So like you're role playing, it's kind of like it builds debating skills and conflict resolution, and yeah, it's really cool. And I've forgotten what the question
That's all
was.
good. That's all good. But I know there's a question he's been dying to ask.
I want
down the
I want
gender
you now to
pronouns.
explain us, like as you said, like how you like through the, I think it's through the COVID you got to know yourself and who you are. I don't know. I think
Yes.
you're with your boyfriend or something, and then you came to find out that you're actually a different type of person, but you want to be you have a title or certain way you want to be approached. There's
Gender pronouns.
I have to be careful. You have to be very careful.
You don't know. You
I
just
got you. But
Well,
it's not gender. It's sexual orientation. So
sexual
gender,
orientation. Okay.
gender. I identify as a woman. My pronouns are she, her.
Okay. Oh yeah, tell me about that stuff. She, her, them, and they. I want to understand all that stuff. Yeah.
Okay. So there are different genders.
Okay.
Beyond man and woman.
Okay.
The non-binary people they're either there's like a plethora. There's so many different orientations, and like each is individual to whoever you are. But basically, it's either man, woman, non-binary, and non-binary can be a whole bunch of different things, like a trans woman, a trans man. You know what transgender is? Okay. And then pronouns are how you address someone.
Okay.
So like yours are he, him, mine are she, her, and maybe a non-binary person who doesn't identify as a man or either a woman, their pronouns would be they.
Okay.
And there's actually some other ones I saw online recently. It's like Z
and here. Z
yeah,
and here.
I need to educate myself on that.
That's like usually when you don't want to refer to they don't want to be referred as him or her, or using those as like Z and here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know. Yeah, so that's basically that, and it's just I'd like to try when I introduce myself to people from now on, be like, my name's Cheri, my pronouns are she and her, because that allows people who maybe have unconventional pronouns to feel like it's a safe space for them to affirm their gender identity with people. Yeah. And then my sexual orientation, was that what you were asking about?
Oh, I just wanted to know everything.
Okay, so in lockdown, I went on this deep introspective healing journey around my sexual traumas and the domestic violence and stuff, and I went back to therapy, and I've always known that I'm like attracted to women, but I came very certain I was like, I'm definitely bisexual. And then like started developing, so I'm in a long-term relationship, it's been almost 6 years. And I started to realize that I think I'm polyamorous. Polyamory is, it means you can have multiple loves. So like where monogamy is one-on-one and it's like a closed relationship. Polyamory is, there's a bunch of different ways that you can do it, and each is unique to whoever the person is. But you can have basically what I have with my boyfriend with other people at the same time. Yes. So it's like an open relationship. Yeah. Polygamy.
But I think it's usually refers in the marriage context, doesn't it?
Yeah. Polygamy is a man with many wives, I think.
Like a Muslim way.
Yes. Polyamory. So amor, love. Polyamor, like many loves, basically. So that's not to say that I could love, it's just to say that whatever, when I meet someone, I would like to be able to
share the same,
to share whatever grows between us. Cause obviously each relationship, like a friendship, is unique. And yeah, polyamory is essentially, it's honest. It's basically like what everyone does in regular life, because
I was about to say
without lying about it.
Yeah.
So it's open relationships.
Yes. In other words, yeah.
So how did your man respect? Or is it a process?
It's complicated.
Yeah, it is complicated.
It's complicated. For him, he's a monogamous creature, and I respect that.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I respect that.
I think we needed to have him also, yeah.
No, he would run a mile. So yeah, I totally respect that. I don't think monogamy is an inferior orientation. I think it's just different for what different people need. But he was not okay with me exploring polyamory with men, but he's okay with women. Are we surprised?
No, we're not. That's all I'm saying. No, we're not. But at least it's a compromise. Let's say
it's a compromise. It's a concession I was willing to make, because I love him very much. He's my best friend, and we've built a life together, and it's a concession, but we'll revisit it at some point.
It's under construction.
Under construction, as all good things are.
Also, you mentioned something interesting, I think, on one of your Instagram posts regarding the meaning of bi and what that means.
Oh yeah, so I actually learned something. I thought bi was like you're attracted to men and women, which it is, but it also, because like I said just now, there's not only two genders. So bi is you can be attracted to any gender, although I think that's moving into pansexual.
Yeah, I was about to say that sounds more like pansexual is usually the one doesn't male or female, doesn't matter.
So I need to Google the difference between bi and pan, but I think bi is like you're attracted to two different genders, not necessarily men and women. Maybe it's like you're attracted to trans women and non-binary people.
Wouldn't that then fall under the pan one? I think the pan one would probably be the one like transgender, doesn't matter any of that, right? And then the bi is probably strictly to the common men, women.
I think I'm gonna have to like relook at that. Bookmark it. We'll come back.
You don't want to be cancelled.
No. Oh god. That's don't quote me.
But something quite interesting kind of like made a connection between the two. So you were referring to when you were younger, going out the forest, just being with nature and stuff like that. Do you think at that time already the whole bi situation was there? I mean, just being in that open, free, vibe?
That's true, actually. Yeah, I think innately, like a gay person is just born gay, that they only just discover it at a certain point. I don't think it's something that it's it's not like a jacket. You can't just put it on and then take it off. So yeah, I think it was definitely there. And I like hooked up with girls here and there when I was drunk, but I thought it was like,
It's so funny. So you like just threw that one in, you know? Like,
Yeah,
before,
so-
you know, there were times where there were girls involved.
exactly. So yeah, but I wasn't like conscious of, I was just like, oh, this is like a thing because like men sexualize that woman on woman action so much. Like I was just like, oh, this is just like a thing that's cool. And especially because of like my conditioning, I was very much like, everything is centered around men's pleasure, etc., etc. So yeah, it was there, but I'd only like come into like true consciousness of it recently.
Look, I'm just going back to that because it's a nice point you made there. Because I know someone, right, who I had that conversation with, where you know it's from the menu of the guys, it's like, oh, girl and girl is fine, you know, and yeah, you'll be okay, go for it. There's nothing wrong with it. And she was like, when she just has that thought, it's like it completely turns her off, you know. And I think for a lot of guys, maybe it would be kind of hard to think like, I mean, it's just a girl, you know, it's girl and girl is fine. But then she posed an interesting question where she was like, how about when you think of a guy and guy like, oh no, you know?
Exactly, 100%. And that's why I think it's like to come out as a gay man is probably a lot harder, or a bisexual man is like a lot harder. Me being like, I'm bi, is everyone's like, oh yeah, like on
exactly.
all women bi.
Exactly.
Yeah,
You know, it's like
so-
girl is fine. No one sees, no one pats an eye there.
Exactly. Yeah.
For me, I just feel like it's because, like, you know, it's for women, it happens naturally. It happens
What?
like a bestie.
Exactly.
You know, so, you know, we get to see that so much time.
Yeah.
You know,
But
just
I think also what plays into that is the whole, you know,
It
with
happens naturally.
women being associated with, you know, being feminists. I mean, like, being feminine, sorry. You know, and being loving and everything. So when you see that, you're like, oh, there's no problem. It's just the two of them, you know, where a guy who's, you know, you're not.
Yeah, there's
you're
no
not,
way.
Yeah,
you can
exactly.
be
You
like,
know,
that's-
usually.
that's my homie.
Yeah, you know, the viewpoint
Come
is
Come on, bro.
the whole
That's my
masculine
bro.
thing. The whole masculine thing.
Stop doing it.
Show that type of
Yeah, I think that's where toxic masculinity comes in, because it's like, who's to say that to be masculine is not to be affectionate, even with your bros, like bromance vibes, you know.
I would have to disagree with that. That's just how
I think
Before I give you the
important.
platform for that, there's this wonderful meme that goes around where it's I'm gonna kiss my bro goodnight. It's a funny meme where the girl takes the guy and is like, wait, I'm gonna be there, but I just need to kiss my bro goodnight.
I think you need to broaden your definition of masculinity and try it out.
Anyway, what do you have to say?
I feel like for us, I feel like for the guys, it's in a different way, man. It will be like, you know, kicking and spending more time with it, you know, playing video games, you know, chilling, you know,
Quality time.
Yeah, so and
not that quality.
no, for us we protecting that.
No good night
But for
kisses.
females,
I got you.
But Raja, what are you
Now
gonna
the
say?
thing is that like it's just a thing, as you said. Like I don't know. For me, as a guy, as a man, like it's being called masculine. What's it? Masculine.
Toxic
Toxic
Toxic. Yeah, but
masculinity.
you don't. Well, why does toxic have to be there? Why can't you just be a
You can, okay.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
So society's kind of trying to make men feel like being like a G or a
being
man.
stand-off
It's
is
you
not
being
the
toxic,
problem.
or it's you being aggressive, or it's you offending other people. It doesn't have to be like that. That's just my opinion.
No, I totally agree with you. There's a very big difference between toxic masculinity and masculinity. Masculinity, being a G, being a bro, is cool. Like, I fucks with that. Like, it's toxic masculinity is like when your homie says, I'm gonna buy Rufalin tonight, I'm gonna pop it in that girl's drink, and then I'm gonna wait till she's so fucked up, and then he's like, haha, and you laugh together. Like, that is like, there's a pyramid of rape culture. At the bottom is like locker room talk, like bros just like doing shit like that, like making sexually objectifying women, making jokes, talking shit about like what sexual encounters they had in a disrespectful way. At the top is rape and murder. And like that's part of the same thing. That's toxic masculinity. Being masculine, like being a protector, being like strong or whatever, that's perfect. Like we need masculinity. It's the yin and yang, the femininity and masculinity. It's when it becomes toxic, where it's harmful. That's what, as you said, society is saying is bad.
Yes, but the thing is that they kind of generalize it all in one thing. That's, I believe, like
it's a very few that understand
it to the. That's why it's very important to know the definition and what the stuff mean. You know, because you just see a girl that had I'm just saying like a fight, not like a fight, just like an argument or breakup, and it will be like my man is showing stuff. Like you're just throwing the words out there. You don't
totally
type of thing.
Just making general decisions as a man. Sometimes people comes up, oh, okay, that's toxic. Like I'm just making a general
point
decision,
and standing on what you
as
believe
a man
in.
in my position. This is the decision I would make. You know, but again, it's a very few that understand two different.
I totally hear you, and I think when people throw around words like that, they lose meaning, and that's really antithetical to the feminist movement. It's like, we're not asking you guys to be feminine. We're literally just asking for basic human respect. And I think it's blame on both sides, because people who use that word toxic masculinity in the wrong context and just grouping masculinity with that's wrong. But also men not being able to call out toxic masculinity and differentiate it from masculinity is kind of just like hiding from the problem, because you're just like, oh, everything's toxic masculinity. You're just saying that because it's like a buzzword. I think the responsibility, as with everything, is on both sides, and it's very nuanced.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I don't think I don't think they understand it also. That's why,
Yeah.
I don't think men also understand the whole difference between it. So that's why it's hard for someone to be like, actually, let me come out and set the difference type of thing.
It's like, it's like for you, for
they're not educated.
For the guys that do this stuff, like they do the type of toxic masculinity when they do use their manlyhood to kind of have an advantage over a woman. So if like someone will do it to me, like I wouldn't put it in a category, okay, that I'll just say, yo, like you're wrong for that. You I'll call it in some other form, But then when you understand, it's like the terms is what is messing things up. In my opinion, you'll just say, no, like bro, you can't be doing that. You're wrong for that. You're not a man for doing that.
I hear you, because there's right and wrong. Ultimately.
You see, things used to be so simple, which is to be right and wrong.
You've been attacked.
But really,
you're right.
Because the problem is with so many terms, right? People use it for on way, I don't want to say this, but they use it when it benefits them in a way. There will be some way where women stand up for each other, and it will be women rights, let's fight. I'm standing even for men, whatever, let's fight. But then there's certain situation where people need to stand together, people don't. But if it affects a certain group or someone in the circle, then it's like, yes, let's do that. But if it affects someone who there's a disconnect between the people, is like, okay, important. Let's wait for something. But this is just society as it comes. As you say, people want to be part of the community. So the community that you're closest to is the community that you want to stand up for.
100%, yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I agree. I think having these terms, like having discourse around things, is important when you understand it. Like you said, people don't have an understanding, because that's how we can make change, when we have an understanding. But I hear you on the things getting lost and misused, and that just boils down to education, which why I think we have a real lack in our education system in terms of teaching these basic things from like a very young age, because toxic behavior already starts like in children, like 7 or 8. I was reading a study about gender biases that they did in South African schools. around, because they were trying to understand like where the gender-based violence epidemic, like where is it stemming from? Like where are this behavior from men stemming from? And they found like 7 or 8 year olds are already 7 or 8 year old boys are already threatening girls with like sexual violence. Like 7 or 8 year olds don't know what like sex really is even. So yeah, I think it really boils down to like education.
It's true.
Yeah, but are you going to prevent media as well?
Well, institutions in general.
Just
the
that's
family,
what you see.
The media,
Yeah, that's what you
church,
see.
like
True.
or each of these places are institutions that condition us and create behavior. So it's pervasive, and I don't know how to fix all of that, but I know we can try, and I know that there are people trying, and we have, as a society, I feel, progressed to some degree, at least. Yeah.
So in terms of, since we're in the community talk,
6 years.
have you, what was your first experience, or have you been involved in the whole LGBT community?
So I actually, having just come into my firm bisexual polyamorous identity, I feel like I'm such a noob. Like I've been to like a pride once, like when I was in grade 8, and I think I literally got accused of being super straight, and I was like,
Super straight?
Yeah, I was like, you're so straight.